Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for the invite, Drunk Sports. Thank you so much for inviting me to the show.
No doubt, appreciate it, man. Let me.
Bueno, saluda a mi gente de. Es el que se me olvida, no tienen que apuntarlo.
The Drunk Sports Show. Aquí estamos con el próximo campeón.
Oye, estos son la gente que son, más nada.
Así mismo.
This is Brian Norman singing, checking out the Doghouse. Roof.
Yo, what up, though? I want to welcome everyone back to the Doghouse, the new voice in boxing. We just talk boxing, no politics, no bullshit, just our thoughts and opinion. You ain't gotta like it, you ain't gotta love it, you ain't gotta hate it. You just gotta respect it. If you feel differently, leave a comment down below. You know what I mean? And we're just gonna chop it up, man. Let's get into it. The Doghouse. Here we go. Yo, today, man, just wanted to talk a little bit about the Tank fight, man. Man, I'm disappointed in a way. Huge Tank fan, man. I've been a huge Tank fan for a long time. So I don't want this to come across as any type of hate or malice or disrespect, because that's not what this is intended for. Shout out to Tank. Shout out to all my dudes out in B-More. But as we all know by now, the Lamont Roach fight was off, right? No more Lamont Roach for now, at least. And it's going to be Jake Paul. Oh man, it's two ways to look at this spectacle. One, you can look at it as glass half full, right? It puts eyes on this great American sport that we love as hardcores, that has somewhat fallen by the wayside in some circles, become kind of like a niche sport in modern day sports entertainment. Jake Paul, very visible, does a lot of numbers. We know what MVP does. We know what he's done for women's boxing. I think he's a good promoter. So business wise, obviously this makes a lot of sense. Jake Paul, I look at it as almost pay-per-view clickbait, you know. And I haven't figured Jake Paul out, man. Like on the one hand, he says he wants to be a respected as a legit boxer. And then on the other hand, he goes and pulls stunts like this. Like, you know, Nate Robinson, Tyrone Woodley, all these guys he's fought, we looked at him as a novice guy, right? And he says, you know what? I'm going to start training a little bit more serious. I'm going to start progressing in the sport. And, we kind of give him some grace. Okay, he started late. He's a box office attraction. But then he goes and does stuff like this. He's on the right track when he fought John Fury. And I even give him credit for the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fight, even though Chavez Jr., way past his prime, never really, never really gave it his all, but he is a former champion. So, you give him a little bit of credit for that. Then you're hearing names like Zordo Ramirez, you're hearing names like Anthony Joshua, and I'm saying to myself, what's the angle here, right? Zordo would have been the best fight for him, I think. And to me, that would have proved the most. Anthony Joshua, you go in there with a built-in excuse. I fought an experienced former heavyweight champion, two-time champion or whatever. And, Jake Paul wasn't ready. He has a built-in excuse. But nevertheless, let's get back to the Tank and Jake Paul fight. To me, this is a cash out for Tank. And he might go on to fight some of the guys we want him to fight, the rest of the four kings. He already has Ryan under his belt. But I really wanted him to really clean out 135. And it's obvious he's not going to do it. It's obvious he won't step up to 140 and fight a TO. Or I know Dev is at 47 now, but I heard Dev on Akim Barak the other day said, it's still possible at some point, maybe at a catch weight or shit. Look, for this fight with Jake Paul, Tank's going. He's got to go up a lot in weight. So why couldn't he go up and fight? Dev. But Tank, he's phenomenal. But I don't think he believes he's phenomenal, or he just wants to bag. Right? It's either or. I'm disappointed, man. I wanted him to make the Roach fight. We wanted to see if that was a fluke or not. No disrespect to Roach. I think Roach is a good fighter, a great fighter. But we wanted to see if that was a fluke or not. Could he write that small blip or blemish on his record? Was it a fluke, or was it, maybe Tank fell off a little bit? Marvin Hagler, Silk Sheets, right? We all know what that's about. Tank has a lot of money, man. Is he less motivated, less hungry? It's possible. It's possible. But if I was confident he was just pausing to go get a huge bag, I'd be cool with that. Go get your money. I want to see him make the money. I'm not mad at that at all. No type of hater. It's great business. Let's be honest. It's great business. Absolutely. Go get your bag. But I don't think after this he's going to fight these guys. What's going to change when he comes back? What's going to make him want to fight a Shakur? What's going to make him want to fight a Tio? He should have stepped in there and shut Tio's mouth, to be honest with you. All the crazy shit he was talking, Terrence wasn't going to fight him. Terrence checked him, on some what's good type shit. But if I'm Tank, I would have stepped in there. I would have shut Tio's mouth. You know what I mean? What's gonna make him fight with the Four Kings? What have we gotten from the Four Kings thus far? And I include Shakur in the Four Kings, right? You got the 5 Kings or the 4+1 Kings or the 4, whatever. It's Shakur, Ryan, Dev, Tank, and who am I missing? Shakur, Ryan, Tank, Devin, and who the hell am I missing? I'm drawing a super blank right now. And Tio. Yeah, I had a brain fart there. But yeah, Tio, what have we gotten from them? We've gotten Ryan and Tank, right? A scary ass Ryan who obviously tapped out of that fight. He was just looking for a bag. You got to salute Ryan because he was trying to get the fight for the longest. He was, going on Mike Tyson's hotboxing, and he was actively searching for that fight, but he tapped out. You know what I mean? He knew it was a major payday. We've gotten the Dev versus Ryan. We know how that turned out. We know what Ryan did, right? We never got a Ryan Tio. We heard about that not too long ago, actually. We never got a Ryan Tio. I heard that Tio went to Golden Boy to make that fight, but De La Hoya and them already was scheming on. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's Pitbull. We actually did a video about that. Shout out to King Amin and my boy Bump. But what have we gotten out of these Four Kings? Dev versus Ryan versus Tank. We never got a Shakur versus Dev. And I know that might be coming down the line. And I know they tried to do the business on that right after the Loma fight and didn't work. I don't think either of them dudes are scary. I think that'd be a great fight, and I think they could figure out. Shakur, he'll move up at some point. Maybe we'll see. We'll work the weight out, but I think that definitely can be something. We didn't get a Ryan versus Shakur, a Tio versus a Dev, a Tio versus Shakur. Even though we heard the Tio versus Shakur, that's the rumor right now. But then that was hot for a minute. I did a video on that, but now and I guess they would do that at 140. I doubt they would do it at a catch weight. But now you're hearing Tio. You're hearing Ryan and Tank. Lamont Roach possibly, and I know that Lamont Roach's father said that Shakur said, "Let me go handle some business, and I'll get right back at you." So hopefully that fight will work out. It's kind of died down a little bit. They were going back and forth on Twitter, but I would definitely like to see that fight. We don't know who's going to pick up that bag promotionally. We know Turkey has all the issues with Tio. Tio has issues with Turkey. Tio's mouth gets him in trouble. Tio's fucking up a lot of bags. But that's neither here nor there. What what's another crazy thing is the fight. I thought I heard Jake Paul in an interview on Ariel Awandi or whatever his name is, said the fight will take place at 190. I don't know what Tank walks around at, but to me, that's ballooning up 40, 50, 45, 50, 35, 40, 50, whatever amount of pounds. That's crazy. And I worry, is he cashing out? He's going to get a super huge bag. What does he do? I heard people bring up Muhammad Ali. Ali did it in his career. He fought the Chinese guy in some exhibition. Floyd did it, but Floyd was already retired at this time. Tank ain't done enough, in my opinion. And I know it's about the money. My whole thing is, are you coming back down? Now, if you go up to 190 or whatever, I doubt he'll get up to 190. Maybe he'll get up to 175. I don't even know. That's insane. Tank's going to be big as a house. What size gloves are they going with? Are they going with big, giant, fucking 28-ounce gloves, big pillows? And they might as well just take pillows to their hands, Skill for skill wise, I don't even want to break this fight down. We know Tank is a real boxer, and we know Jake Paul is playing boxer. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but he's no way, how on a level of Tank skill wise. Now, the weight is a concern. The weight is a concern. I don't know how that's going to play out. I really, really don't know how that's going to play out. But this is about Tank. Tank is a message to you, my guy. You're an amazing fighter. You have a lot of pop. You have a lot of skill. You have a lot of money. Stop holding boxing up. Drop the belt. Let somebody clean 35 out. Or don't drop the belt. Get your huge bag. Get back on track. And go back to 35 and unify. Go up to 40. Whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? Because I had an argument with one of my buddies about this, about his resume. And there's two ways to look at it. Some people say, who has Tank really fought, right? Leo Santa Cruz, kind of on the back end of his career. Gamboa, kind of washed already at that time. Rolly, at the time, I thought that was like some borderline cherry pick. It's starting to age a little bit. Okay, Rolly just caught that strap off of Ryan. Pitbull is aging a little bit. Pitbull's aging well. Frank Martin. Shout out to Frank Martin. Who am I missing? Barrios. Barrios is aging well. He has a couple of names, but he hasn't fought the guys we want him to fight. Now, granted, I know he's already basically said it, but he's not going to let the fans dictate how he moves in boxing. And not saying he necessarily should, but bruh, as good as you are, man, and I know it's not about legacy too, obviously, but that's why I got so much respect for a guy like Devin. That's why I got so much respect for a guy like, Sean Porter, Errol Spence, Terrence. Even though Terrence was a little bit shaky on, and I don't mean fighting. I mean just the way he re-signed with Bob when he had some big fights out there and other spots, but he took a little criticism for that. But these guys are dogs. Shakur is a dog. Shakur wants to fight all the top guys. You can just see that, and nobody up until now, nobody wanted to fight him. And I think we got rid of all this Tom and Jerry nonsense. I think after his last fight, he has showed, and I never really went for all that Tom and Jerry nonsense. I like the sweet science. I like the movement. But, people are criticizing him against De Los Santos. And, that's only the real fight I really thought he was on his bike a little bit. And I don't even think really on his bike. He knew he was a big puncher and he fought him accordingly. Same thing Devin did with Jose Ramirez. But we saw him. Okay, so Turkey says, you know what, Tom and Jerry, and Shakur probably says, you know what, I want some of these bigger fights. Some of these guys probably won't want to deal with the movement. So I'm going to show them I could step in the ring, stand in the ring with somebody, and not necessarily be on my bicycle, but just slip punches. Like, there's an art to that. Like, Pernell Whitaker you can't say Pernell was a runner. Pernell would slip punches. He was elusive. He was fast, a lot of movement. Head on a swivel. Never had the Jaime Munguia head with no lateral movement, no head movement. Pause. So I thought Shakur's performance against Zepeda was top notch, but we want to see these fights, right? Tank, I'm not trying to shit on you, brother, but I just think it's over for Tank, man. We're gonna know after the Jake Paul fight by his next fight if he goes and fights anyone other than the top guys at 35 or even 40, then don't spend the money on him anymore, man. We don't want to see these pay-per-views, man. This is keeping Al Heyman and them, this is the Al Heyman stimulus package for the PBC stimulus package. And it's terrible, man. I can't, what can you really say at this point? What can you really say? Right? I don't know, Tank. Get your bag and move on, or get your bag, come back, and let's get some real credible fights in there. Do the Lamont Roach fight after that if it still has any steam on it. You know what I mean? I don't know if Lamont goes and fights Shakur, fight somebody else. See, the risk of that is Lamont goes, fight somebody else, and loses. Then that fight kind of loses its luster a little bit, right? So hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully he goes in there. I would say Shakur beats him, but hey, that's on paper. It's got to be played out. So Tank, let's get it together. Shit will get up the pot. Yo, I'll be back. I appreciate y'all listening to me, man. Drunk Sports Combat. You are now in the doghouse. Appreciate you listening. We'll talk in a few. Peace.